Hello, welcome to Comfy Cozy Up. So yeah, today is the 1st of July and I am thinking like, the summer needs to slow down just a little bit because this is my favorite time of the year and it seems like when you get to July it's like damn the month just flies by and before you know it. So but I'm making the best of it. I am enjoying the summer. I had my mom was here for a whole week. Didn't vlog anything, but basically just relax. I also had some change in my work schedule, which made me get sleep, guys. Sleep. Sleep is so important to me, and I'm so happy that I'm able to get some sleep right now. I don't know how long this schedule is going to last, maybe another week, but I'm going to appreciate it. Now, this is 4th of July week, and honestly, I don't have nothing planned, and I'm okay with it because the following week is a busy weekend for me. I have a wedding to go to and some other stuff I'm supposed to be doing. So I'm like okay with nothing going on this week. Maybe see if some fireworks, probably the most I'll do. But for this week, reading vlog is going to be City of Girls. And this book I've been eyeing for, when I saw it. And when I started reading it, I started reading it when it just came out. And I remember just thinking, okay, this giving me the Seventh Husband of Evelyn Hugo vibes. For some reason, the main character is giving me that vibes. So I put it back down because I was just not ready because I love that book. And it just, the fact that it was reminding me of it was just like putting me off a little. So I decided to pick it back up and I realized it's not the same story. However, it is one of those where it's an old character who is giving her a retale of her life. And she has that similar Evelyn attitude of, when they're old, they don't give a shit. They talk whatever they want to say. And they, they tell their dirt, the things they did when they were young. In this case, you have a character, her name is Vivian. And there's this woman who is a child of a man that I guess she knows. We don't know exactly what the deal is, but she sent her a letter asking her to tell her what did her father meant to Vivian. So instead of Vivian just cutting to the chase, we're getting the nitty gritty of when she moved to New York City. So this is New York City in the 40s. So just imagine just reading this. It's juicy, it's real good. Also, she was 19 at the time, so she was a little 19 thought kind of girl. So I'm laughing reading this, and I'm also very entertained. It's one of the first book I've ever read where when you read books where people talk about virginity, it's always one very disturbing, sad case of how a person lost their virginity, or in a romance novel, it's just supposed to be so sweet and nice and everything. This book had me laughing so hard. I mean, I was hollering at the scene of how this Vivian talk about losing her virginity. If you've read this book, please, what the hell? How did you feel about that part? I thought it was funny as hell. And there's other things that's going on in this book where I'm like, Lord, a loose case of the 1940s, and these girls were like, oh, they were just out there. And I'm loving it so far. So this is what I'm gonna be doing for this week, and I am about 130 pages in, I think. I'm enjoying this. I am really, really enjoying this. It's just I'm laughing. It's entertaining as hell. This old lady just dishing all her dirt to this woman. So we're gonna continue with this. Also, I might get in one more of Chelsea Maria. I think it's, yeah, Chelsea Maria's she has these romance, but they're short. They're like 100 a page. Some of them a little bit over 100 page. And I'm enjoying this particular one that I'm reading now. I don't remember the name. I'll pop it up somewhere here. It's a quick read. I mean, I just picked it up like yesterday, but I haven't really digged into it yet. But it's one of those where I mean, if I commit to 2 hours and so, I could fly through it. But I'm gonna do like a series on her, so we'll see how that goes. And that's it. Keto. I'm enjoying the keto. I'm able to maintain keto. Um, but I find that there's some negative comments, not on here, but like in general, where people don't do their research. Keto is not for everybody. It's just not. Keto works well for people like me who have family history of diabetes. I don't want it. I'm trying to not get it. So for me, controlling my carbs and my sugar intake is working well for me, and the weight's coming off at a very nice pace. I'm up to 28 pounds and I'm okay with that. And I am enjoying what I'm eating, and I am okay with it. It's not, I don't feel like I'm forcing myself to be on this particular diet. It's just somewhat I was able to incorporate in my lifestyle, and it's working where I'm not feeling like I'm deprived. I can be anywhere and resist the carbs, and because I know I can substitute it with something else. For people who are on keto, and just avoid the negative comments, because like I said, every diet is not for everybody, and this is also a diet that you have to do your research. When it says fat, it doesn't mean you're going to eat a bucket of fried chicken or go to Popeyes and just pig out on some fried chicken. That's not what the fat intake is. You eating fat, but it's a different kind of fat. It's not the really horrible fat that is out there. And I think people get the impression that when they say you can have fat, you could just pig out and eat all these other just really bad saturated fat. That's not the case. Please do your research and learn what it is, and then decide if it's for you. It may not be a diet for you. There's so many other diets out there that will work and for you, but this may not be it. And it may be it, but if it is, make sure you are doing your research and eating properly, and not just eating fat that's just bad fat. You know what I mean? So I want to say about that, and we're going to continue with this. Yeah. So on to another one. Another day, actually. Bye. Hello. So guys, today I am going to continue reading. So I am still reading this book, and I'm really enjoying it. Now the main character is a 90-year-old woman. The story, of course, started in 2010. But she is telling her when she moved to New York, and it was 1940. So, doing the math, and I'm like, oh, she's about 90. So, I also like the show business back then. This is Broadway, and she's a seamstress, and she's also young and want to explore. She's very much easily influenced, which is something you definitely notice in the story. But because she's 90, she's owning up to her bad decisions, and also how gullible she was back then. So I really enjoy that. I just love Broadway life back in the 40s. It's so glamorous, and it's also very scandalous and interesting. And it's also she said a lot about women back then. How just protecting yourself was illegal, getting birth control was illegal, and this expectation that if you're getting married, you had to be a virgin, and all these things that women had to endure back then. I thought that was interesting. And also the history part was very good, as far as like the World War II reference in there with she had a family member that went into the service, and people who were part of show business, how the war kind of drew them in, and they lost a lot of key actors and actresses and behind the scene people back in Broadway. So in order for Broadway to continue, they were like people who weren't that talented who were, had to carry on the show and actually pretend that everything is great. So I really like that part, and I'm gonna continue, and I'm almost done. Like, I mean, probably another 100 something pages, but I'm really enjoying it. It's definitely a really good historical fiction, and I really, really am. I'm liking. And then I got up this morning. I've been up since 5. I got a new vacuum, the Shark. I love it. So I was cleaning and doing all these household stuff. It just relaxes me and then, put me at ease. And I had the intention of going to the pool today because I'm like, I don't want to go to the pool on 4th of July because I know it's going to be packed. But it is gloomy and it looks like it's going to rain, which means they're probably not going to have the pool available today. So as soon as I see a glimpse of sun, I'm out of here. I'm going to go to the pool because I just want to go today. But if not, it'll be tomorrow. But right now, I'm going to go to a nail salon. And hopefully, I won't have a problem with that because it seems like a lot of places already shut down and or the lines are ridiculous. So you have to have an appointment and I don't have one. So that's the goal for right now. And yeah, it's a chill day. Chill day, guys. Chill day. Yeah. See ya. Hey guys, so I'm literally at the end. I'm about 2 chapters to go, but this is particular line that oh my God, it gave so much depth of how she feels about sexuality and how sex felt for her. And this is this line. There was a place within my imagination so fathomlessly deep that the light of the real world could never touch. Nothing but sex has ever been able to reach it. This place within me was pre-human almost. Certainly, it was pre-civilization. It was a place beyond language. Friendship could not reach it. My creative endeavor could not reach it. Awe and joy could not reach it. This hidden part of me could only be reached through sexual intercourse. And when a man went to that darkness, secret place within me, I felt as though I had landed in the very beginning of myself. Yeah. Vivian, this is when you are at that age where you can look back on your life and know who you are and can really dig into the things that you did in your entire life at 90. That has to be a very beautiful feeling to be able to own what you did, but also have this clear understanding of what things meant to you, whether it is family, love, in this case sexuality, and own it regardless of how society think you should feel about it. There's just this book, not what I thought it was going to be, but yeah, I'm going to finish the last 2 chapters and give you your thoughts. I don't know, I might have to soak it in a little bit before I get back on camera to talk more about it, but yeah, it's a good book. Hello, so I am going to be doing a wrap up for City of Girls by Elizabeth Gilbert. So I am going to basically tell you off the bat, if you haven't watched the video from the beginning, then you will know, then you have missed the point that I love the story. Now, once I got near the end, I realized, and after I started doing the math, that Angela, who's the woman who wrote Vivian, who was 9 years old, a letter, is someone way up in age as well. And I can imagine not having these questions about her father that she didn't know, and she wanted to know what did he mean to her, to Vivian. Um, and Vivian took it upon herself to really go way back and give her story of how her life changed when she moved to New York. While reading this in my mind, I'm thinking, if I'm asking you one simple question and you are giving me all these background story of your life, I was thinking, okay, that's a bit far-fetched. But as the story unfolds, you kind of realize that why she had to, and the main reason why it worked, because if you kind of didn't know the backstory, then you wouldn't know who the father was and how Angela's father played a part in the story. And it was cleverly done, because you don't know literally until the last 50 pages of who Angela's father is. I was playing the guessing game throughout the book, and when I realized who Angela's father is, I was thinking, oh my God, that was so clever, because I would have never guessed that's who the father is, even though there's not a lot of male figure in the book. So that had a voice in the book. Vivian is very out there. She is sleep with any man she wants, whenever. I don't think she has a count of any man she slept with, and she is not afraid to tell you this. So, it could be a lot of men, but in this case, it's a man that had a voice in the book. So, I guess if you were to sit there and write down all the male guys in the book, it's not a lot. I guess you can guess. I didn't guess this one, honestly. I thought it was it surprised me. Now, overall, it is a book that I feel it warms me. And maybe because I'm a kind of a woman that loves to hear elderly people talk about their life, especially elderly people who lived that era, the 30s, the 40s, the 50s, and tell you how they were, and how, especially women, and the life and how things were. I found it very interesting, and I was soaking it up. I also love that in this case, you have a woman who's not afraid of her sexuality, and realize how different and sometimes not really clear meaning of how sex means to her. But then there's that part where she really said something that I kind of wondered about, where ideally, society thinks as a woman you should want to get married and have kids and live this like one man story, one woman, one man kind of deal. And there are some women and some men who aren't, I don't think, mentally want that. They want to live free and to sleep with whoever the hell they want, whenever, and live that life, and it fulfilled them in a weird way that many of us, including myself, may not fully understand. But at the same time, it exists. These people exist, and they shouldn't be judged or treated a certain way for this. And this book made me understand that part of people who are like that. I also like how it dig into people who were affected by World War II, and it deal with it in a different kind of way, where post-traumatic disorder that happens, forgot the actual term for it, and we have it now where our current military people come back with having psychological issues and can't sleep and have a problem with people touching them and getting intimacy with someone, because it's a thing that they're dealing with. And I love how it is addressed in this for people of World War II, because you don't really hear that part a lot. You only hear mainly now, or maybe like Vietnam kind of people that, because a lot of times they associate the Vietnam War veterans who suffered with drugs, becoming drug addicts. And then in this case, it's a different kind of issues that they're dealing with. I love that part. I love how it also talks about her character, where education was such a big deal back then, where in certain society that had money, the wealthy, you had to get an education or you weren't really respected, and how education wasn't her route. This is not something that she just was gifted of. I mean, she went to the school and she was almost the last in the class, and the only reason why she wasn't the last was because the person under her was sick and missed out a lot of years, a lot of classes. So, but she had the gift for tailoring. She was gifted in creating style, and she knew her fabric. She knew how a dress or a pant's supposed to move on the body, and that's a gift. And that's not a gift she learned in school. That's a gift she learned. You will learn how she learned. That kind of gift, but. I love how that's talked about, and I am academic. I, went to all the way to my master's degree, but I've always respected people who this is not their journey. They're gifted in other ways that they can, have wealth and a really good career. And she's one of those characters that you can see it, where she had a long career in that field of, creating beautiful garments and tailored clothes for people, and that she was passionate about. Also the Broadway situation in here, a lot of it you've heard before, and then there's also some of it where you're thinking, oh my God, these people were out of control back then, and how you had the people who didn't aged in the Broadway setting. Back then it was before movies were really that big, and if you were aging in the industry, your career was pretty much done, and you are, and in the book there's a particular character who would dissect you and tell you how she feels, and what your life gonna be if you are in this industry, because it's reflected upon her, what she's in experience. And I love that. It's one of those where it's everything in this book. You get a bits and pieces of everything from that era, and I like that she did her research, but she created something that you can get some kind of inspiration from. I love this. I really love this book, and I'm surprised because this is not what I expected. And also, earlier when I talked about, I thought it felt a little bit like the Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo when I first read the few pages in. I don't know why. It just gave me that vibes, and I put it down. And I'm so happy I picked it back up, because it is nothing like that book. It's just that historical period is in the book. So there's certain cross thing where except for Evelyn Hugo, she was more into movies, while this one is the Broadway life. So loved it. New York back then was definitely something that is different, but it's also very white. So you're not gonna get any vibes of black culture in this book at all from that era, and I'm okay with that, because I really learned other parts of the life then in Broadway. So I appreciate that part of the story. But yeah, could really go on and on. It is over, it's like 450 something pages. It didn't take me long, because I find I didn't want to end, but I kept wanting to read more and more, but I really didn't want to end. It's like at the end I'm like, okay, can I get a little bit more? Like, can you give me some more years? Because it didn't really dig into the last 20 years. It you know, the book is, you know, going from 1940 to 2010. It didn't dig in anything past really the 70s. So I would have loved that part, but then also she was in a different stage in her life, so I guess it wasn't much to talk about in that part. But I really, really, really enjoyed this, and I'm gonna leave it at this. Yeah, it's a long one, guys, long one, but yeah. So, if you can't tell, pick it up, guys. Pick it up. It is a beautiful story, and I enjoyed it. Yeah. Have a good day. Bye.